Hey, this is Kirk Yamaguchi here, and I want you guys to know that we're really, I myself have been personally blessed by going through this John series and have learned so much about Jesus and what he's calling us into. And so I want you guys to know that this is our last section of our series of John, and I encourage you guys to stay with it to the end, and we got some exciting things that are going to follow after our series of John. So here we are in John 18. So they came for him at night, and after supper and prayer, Jesus and the disciples, they retired to a garden across the Kidron Valley. And now Passover coincides with Israel's most precious season in their short spring. But perhaps as the group journeyed, they delighted in the wildflowers along the path, or clutched their cloaks a little closer as a breeze carried away the last warmth of the day. Maybe the air held promise of rain, or a few sprinkles fell on the group as they sought refuge in the garden. And I like to think that this journey, the last one Jesus would make freely before his death, was a sweet time of fellowship. It was, shall we say, the peace before chaos. And Judas led the Jewish leaders and a band of soldiers to the garden to arrest Jesus after nightfall. Nighttime in this passage seems to be a metaphor for the state of Judas and the officials' hearts. And just as Nicodemus came to Jesus at night and could not understand him, so the Jewish leaders sent their officials to condemn Jesus at night because they did not want to understand him. So the state of their hearts was like nighttime, dark and cold. And they acted out of this darkness to condemn the only truth this world has ever seen. So relativism is a doctrine that truth and morality exist in relation to societal, historical, and cultural contexts. So truth, within the scope of relativism, is no longer an absolute. So Pilate's words in John 18:38 perfectly capture this attitude. He said, "What is truth?" To the Jewish leaders, the truth was that Jesus was threatening their way of life and their understanding of the law. And moreover, he had equated himself with Yahweh, which was the ultimate blasphemy. And so Pilate's truth was that Jesus was a little odd, but harmless, and he could find no reason to crucify him. But what was also true for Pilate was that he was on Caesar's bad side. "If you let this man go, you are no friend of Caesar," the Jews shouted. So with 2 black marks already on his record, Pilate, he could not afford for Caesar to believe he had been anything but loyal. So these things were true, and they led to Jesus' crucifixion, but they were not the truth. The truth is Jesus. He said, "I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me." Now, this is not relative, depending on when you were born, where you live, or what culture you come from. It's fact. It's an absolute truth. No one, not you, not me, not anyone, will go to the Father unless they believe in Jesus and accept his substitutionary sacrifice on the cross. So this is the truth Pilate and the Jewish leaders were missing because they were too busy looking at the little relative truths of their own lives. So let us pray we don't lose sight of the truth the way they did. Now, before we get into our questions, please remember that in all of our videos, a question will be placed on the screen where someone in your group or yourself can pause the video and take a few moments to discuss the question together. Then hit play again and move on to the next one. Okay, our first question. Do you think there was any significance of Jesus' arrest being done at night? And why? Okay, second question. How does the metaphor of night and day apply to your spiritual journey and understanding of truth versus truth? Or should I say truth versus truth? And lastly, think about the term relativism. This idea that what's true to me may not be true to you has become a popular philosophy. So what would you say to someone who said, that Jesus stuff may be true for you, but it just doesn't apply to me?